Bluewater switches. So here we have a replica of a dash in a boat that I'm restoring, and the replica was designed to build a new wiring harness, and I opted to go with, of course, Lavorsky gauges, Rockford Fosgate stereo system, and Bluewater gauges. Bluewater switches. We got power and engine start stop, horn, blower, navigation, docking lights, accessory lights, and stereo. Of course, we have bilge pump 1 and bilge pump 2. And these are really nice switches, but I encountered a problem with the Rockford Fosgate stereo head. When you turn the stereo switch on, it would pop its breaker. Now, it's supposed to be set at 20 amps, the switch. So if anybody's having a problem out there of the switch, not activating the stereo head or some other device, I contacted Bluewater, and Bluewater stated, well, add a relay because of the power surge. I noticed that when I powered this up, hooked it straight to a battery, it worked fine, but there was quite an arc, like it was a power surge, maybe over 20 amps. Now, the stereo head unit comes with a fuse. That's a 20 amp inline fuse, which is back here in this fuse holder. So, it's not enough power surge to pop its own fuse, but the Bluewater switch doesn't like it. So, go back around here. I installed a relay right here to power the stereo, and I'm waiting for a fuse, an inline fuse, so I have this powered right now just to a 30 amp. Got a jumper wire on it because my fuse panel is out of spaces for all the stuff I have going on. So this camera is really struggling to focus. Apologize about that. So anyway, what I have is the relay helped it because now it will power on most of the time, but that first kick every single time does this. Let's see if it'll do it. And there it goes. It popped it right away. The stereo's not on. Now if I reset this, which you just push it one time to reset it, and do it again, well, it's doing it again. Let's try it again. There it goes. It took 2 times this time to reset it until it would power the stereo head on. Now it seems like it's that first power surge, and this switch just doesn't like that power surge, which to me seems to be, of course it's a really nice switch. It's got some neat features and stuff, but it's a little overly sensitive. It needs some kind of spike or a higher amp switch. It's maybe over 20 to power some of today's modern electronics. These are not cheap stereo heads. New, they're running about almost $700. This is not a cheap switch. It runs about almost 60 bucks. So it's a little disappointing that the switch won't power today's modern stereo on the first shot. Now after you do it once or twice, apparently, and hit it, it'll work every time until the electricity bleeds out of the stereo. I'm not sure why the stereo requires, such a spike to start off, but I know the switch doesn't like to start it up. Doing this left-handed, I'm sorry, I'm pushing at an angle. But you can see every time afterwards, it works. You just got to get it past that spike. So, although it's working, it seems to me that the switch manufacturer needs to maybe modify those switches a little bit or something to get them to function, to handle a surge for a millisecond or whatever it might be, instead of having this problem. Now, I have no idea about anything else. I've tried the blower switch, and I've tried some other switches on some standard electronics that seem to function fine. But let's say you get a spike on your bilge pump, or the engine start. That's going to be a unique one, right? Because that's going to be a push and hold. So I'm going to attach a relay to that. But if it's too much amperage, which I couldn't imagine it being, but if it is, then that's not going to work. And I had a guy on Facebook comment that his didn't work at all. They were working on some kind of other switch. So I'll be testing that later with a starter and a solenoid and a relay and all that. But right now I just want to show the Bluewater switch and how it works on stereo on a Rockford Fosgate PMX. So after that initial surge, now that's been sitting all night, so you saw it took two clicks to get it to work. Anyway, hopefully that's all that will keep happening, and everything else will work from there. Turn the nav light on, and we get our lighting. Also rigged up that's anchor light, and that's off. Also rigged up a little auxiliary switch just if you want to highlight everything, make it look cool. And of course that dims the stereo when you turn the lights on. Anyway, that's all I know about Bluewater switches right now. Other than that, I really like them. They look cool as hell.